It works! Finally! Oh Jesus. I have a real Canterlot voice, so if I'm speaking too loud, I will move away all the time. So, you just arrived at the conventions. How many bottles of water have you drunk?
Not yet.
You guys, come on. Yeah, awesome. I will make a panel about convention experience because I've been doing conventions for 15 years and no one ever told me about these things that I will tell you that are really, really useful. So why not? First up is food. Always try to drink a lot of water, of course, and try to stay off caffeine as much as you can. I know it can be hard, but try. Because as much as caffeine that you intake, the more water you need to drink because it just clears the body of all the water that you truly need. So please try to drink a lot of water. Promise me. Promise me to drink water today, okay? Yeah, because I've seen so many people fainting at a con and it's not a good experience and I mean, it's kind of embarrassing. I fainted myself and also it's not a really good thing to they will call your parents and they will call your friends and you're like, I'm sorry, I just fainted because I didn't drink water. So please try to drink water. Food, as always, try to stay healthy if you can. And breakfast, lunch and dinner. At least try, and try maybe some snacks in between just to keep the blood sugar high. Especially if you're in costume, it's super important. If you're in costume and you cannot I know how it is, you can't grab a burger and oh, it went all over my clothing. So there is some ways that you can do this more effectively. Protein bars, protein shakes. They keep you up longer and it's better than just not eating at all. Of course, if you're staying at a hotel, there is some cheaper ways. Go to the supermarket and buy instant noodles because a lot of the hotels have a water boiler. So instant ramen, yay! Cheap alternative to buying that convention pizza slice for 20 euros or whatever they're charging. So also dried fruit. If you are not allergic to dried fruit, I'm allergic to everything, so I cannot eat dried fruit. But of course, and there are also fruit salads, I think, on cans. I know, but if you can eat those, super awesome, because they don't need a refrigerator. So just store them in your hotel room and just eat them when you get that hungry feeling when you're going to bed or grabbing something to go to the con. Super important to eat the good healthy stuff. I know how it is. If you're like me, I have 3 chronic illnesses. I have endometriosis, I'm super allergic, and I have allergy against makeup. Yeah, I know. Always bring your medicine. Do not leave it at a hotel room, because if something happens to you, you can be rushed to the hospital, and your entire convention will be destroyed. This has happened to some of my friends. One of them had epilepsy. She forgot to bring her, she was like, well, I will never get a seizure at a con. Come on. And of course she got it. And she never told us how to treat her. So, to me, as I said, I'm allergic. So I'm always telling, I have my best friend here, and I've told him, if I get an allergy reaction, this is how you should treat me. And also, it's really good to inform your friends. If the paramedics arrive, they know what's in your system. Or what kind of chronic illness you have, or just any illness. Because it will be, it could save someone's life. I had a girl at the convention, she got an asthma attack, and I remember this so clearly. Everyone was standing in a big circle around her, looking at her, and she was on the floor, gasping for air. And I have asthma myself, so I just run up to her and what is wrong? Is it asthma? And she nods, and I'm like, where is your medicine? And she's like, I don't know. So we had to call the ambulance. It could have been, she was actually rushed off the convention. This could be, if she just got on her medicine in time, she would be fine. So always bring your medicine. If you're flying somewhere for a convention, always bring a paper with all your medicine you're carrying, because you don't want to be stopped in costumes when they think you have something illegal on you. Especially if you're going to US or Asian countries, they are super clear with that. Always have everything written down and with your doctor's signature, so they know that you have good stuff and not those illegal stuff. Always good. About hygiene at a convention. Well, shower is really good. So if you could shower, do that. Of course, use a lot of smelly good stuff. Not too strong though, because there's a lot of allergies against perfumes and stuff. So try to keep it minimum, maybe some sensitive stuff for your skin. And also, if you're in cosplay, try to have a lot of lotions on, because like the air inside a convention center is really bad. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's really bad. So try to stay dry-heated as possible. Always, there's actually a new thing that I have just noticed, and that's dry shampoo. There's shampoo in a spray jar. You can buy them at H&M or something, and it's like super easy. And I mean, sometimes you may not have like the time to take a shower, and you just spray that thing in your hair, like ruffles it like crazy, and it looks super new. So you should really look that up, because I mean, especially if you're staying in a hostel and like, yeah, we have one shower and we're 45 people. So that could really come in handy. And of course, if you're having a really big costume, they have those antiperspirants that you can spray. So you can spray them on your arms or your leg or your back to keep like some of the sweat out, because that's kind of good. Comfy clothing. Well, cosplayers don't have comfy clothing, that we all know, so, but the rest of you, if you have a pair of new shoes, don't wear them at the convention, because you will get the weirdest blisters and it hurts like hell. And if you really want to use those new shoes, have some bandage, just in case. And as always, have a lot of medication and aspirins, and because you will get a headache. You always get a headache, even how much you drink. I'm like starting to get one right now, and I'm drinking like 4 of those. So always have your pills ready. Pills here. When you're packing for a convention, as usual, no sharp objects in your hand luggage, please, because they don't really want to like look through your hand luggage, and there's like your cosplay costume neatly packed, and they're like ripping it up for this like nail file. It's not worth it. Also happened to me. Or pins. If you have like buttons or badges, as we all do, they could actually take those away in customs. So pack them away. If I had that problem when I was going from Japan to Sweden, and I had like a Yu-Gi-Oh pin, like a super small one, and they're like, you can't bring those in the country, and I was like, it cost me like $20. Please let me take it in. And I flirted a bit, so I was able to get it into my country because it was super expensive. But remember that when you're going abroad, like, remove all the pins and metal and stuff just to make sure. Also with plushies, I would say maybe don't have them as hand luggage, because you never know. You never know if like a custom will like, well, this looks like some interesting thing, and then we'll just rip it apart. It's better to be safe and sound. I think the plushie feels so much better being in the bag with your clothing and everything, just to make sure. Because I've seen people traveling with plushies, and I'm like, I hope God that doesn't get checked, because I do not really want to, like, oh God, plushies, they're so expensive. If you're traveling with a cosplay, like a costume, there's a lot of ways to pack. I usually use Tupperware jars for like the thingies, and bubble wrap, of course, because they keep everything safe and sound. Also, you could take some of the item as hand luggage, but of course remember the rules. Don't have anything dangerous. Well, how many here have shopped for a big amount of money already? Yeah? The thing is with spending, I would say always do your research. Do your research before the convention. Is there a specific seller? Is there a specific artist? Is there something you really want? Because you have to be super quick at Brony conventions. I mean, all the plushies are sold out upstairs. And it's been like 1 hour. So always do your research. I usually have like a big list with like, I need that print and that print and that print. And also it's really good to like save money. Don't take from your food money budget. Please, guys. I know it's really tempting, but try to keep them separated. if you need, like, have the food money in an environment, like, have them close, or maybe lock them into the safe if you don't trust yourself, just to keep those away. Have a spending budget for food and water and stuff, and then for the items you want to buy. Because I mean, haven't we all been to some convention and there's like that friend that is like, well, I can't afford food. Can I borrow from you? And you're like, you have 4 plushies. How much did those cost? And his friend is like, well, but you know plushies. So let us don't be that friend, okay? Don't be that friend. Well, it's kind of sad that I have to tell you guys this, but cosplay is not constant, and please don't touch any cosplayer's prop. I mean, I think usually don't touch anyone if you're not asking them for it, because I've had props destroyed, I have makeup destroyed, some people have even like yanked my wig really, really hard, so it like breaks. So if you want to, I know it's really tempting to touch something that is really pretty, because I do that myself. I'm like, oh, so pretty, but always ask. For example, if you touch someone's prop and it has spray paint or paint on it, it can leave like thumb marks, because you know you have fat on your hands, and when you touch something that is painted, it will leave thumb marks, and it can actually destroy a prop. Really, it destroys it. And if you see a cosplayer like that having problem with walking, always offer your help. Just because she or he will really often like, oh my god, thank you for helping me. Because cosplay is, oh god, you can have big wings, you can have big armor, it looks pretty, but it's hell to wear. It's really hell. Or if they have a fursuit on, it's so warm. And especially like white fursuiters, and you like see someone that's sneaking up behind them and like trying to grab them, and you're like, that fursuiter has a white coat. I've heard so many horror stories about that, and it just makes me cringe, because I don't really want that to happen to anyone. And I mean, loves are awesome. I love hugs, but hugging me from behind, nah. It's not the right thing to do. Always ask. And some people do not like physical contacts, and respect them for that. Always. And if some people want hugs, just give them hugs. Like, feel free to pack hugs. The last thing I want to talk about is safety. Always at conventions, you see someone's computer or laptop or Samsung or stuff laying around. Have you seen this? And like people have their iPhones laying on the floor, and you're like, whose phone is that? And there's like this guy over there like, yeah, it's my phone. And you're like, yeah. Because people will steal. I know it's sad, and we all feel together, and I mean, we're all nerds, and all of our fandoms and stuff, but there will always be those rotten people that need to steal our stuff. So never leave anything, not like even for loading, like always sit next to your stuff, because I've seen so many items disappearing. System cameras, computers, iPhones, and they're like, well, there was this random guy over there, he was supposed to watch my phone, but he left. And you're like, yeah, but do you know him? No, he was just some random guy. If it's your friends, fine, but keep track of your things. And also at hotel rooms, of course, don't leave valuable stuff on the table or something, because you never know. There's always some rotten apples around here. For cosplay props, the same. Don't leave your cosplay props. Some conventions have like this area where you can leave your props, and they're like, well, Yami, would you like to leave your most expensive prop here? And I'm like, no. Always bring it with you, because if it disappears, you will be sad, and the poor guy who was supposed to guard it will be sad. So please, just take your props with you, or just leave them at the hotel, and when it's time to go on stage, then you can like bring it up. Because like, yeah, you really don't want, or plushies, of course. I mean, I get you have seen like some of the posts right now with plushies disappearing at brony conventions. I mean, they will never arrive home, I think, sadly. So please keep track of your stuff, because people will steal. I will actually do some questions. If you have any weird questions about conventions or just anything, just ask me. or convention experience? Yes?
You started off talking about water and its importance, so I'd like to tell a bit of a story.
Yes, please!
I was in Takon, which is like an otaku convention, a couple of years back, and it was during a heat wave, like 30 or so degrees. So the event organizers, they had these water stations, like the ones you see in, well, in public spaces, the water tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had reminders on walls and everywhere, so that people would drink water. So what do you think is the responsibility of the organizer?
Well, I'm not an organizer myself, so I would say if people are under 18, I think it could be actually up to the organizers. But when you're over 18, you're an adult. So, but of course, I think like the friend, I'm sharing table with Ellie Monty, and she's only drinking like a half a bottle of Fanta. And I'm telling her like every single minute, drink some water. And she's like, no, only sugar. And I'm like, drink some water. So I think that could be like, take some random, just go up to some random, like, have you drinking your water today? Have you? And I bet they will like, oh no, I haven't done that actually. So I think it could be like a chain, a friendship of water chain or something. Because, you know, when you get reminded that you need to drink water, you do drink water. Yeah, you get thirsty, go and grab some water. But I mean, we have seen so many people fainting at cons just because of water. Just because of that. And usually after you have fainted, you're super tired. Your entire body just shut down. So it's not really worth it. It's not worth it. And thank you. Anyone else with some fun question? Yes?
Curious about the water.
This is so good.
Which one do you prefer? Plain water or some mineral water?
I prefer the Swedish water.
But I mean that which one is better and overall?
Oh, like the mineral water and the plain water? What I think is if you have mineral water, you can't like drink it, like a lot of it, because you have to like take tiny sips because of the minerals. So I usually just have like non-carbohydrate water because you can just chug it. Like. And of course, like vitamin drinks or fruit drinks, super mega awesome. Like put those together, but try to stay off the caffeine. I usually have a rule: no caffeine before lunch. After lunch, when I get tired, then I drink some cola or something. This is really, you know, super. You need to start your day with water and breakfast and stuff. So we can at least try. We can at least try. Anyone else? Could be a water question. Could be a non-water question. How many here will be in the cosplay show tomorrow? Oh, you was.
What's the worst experience you've had?
Oh God. The worst, like most creepy, or like the worst
Anything.
in anything? Oh God, that's 15 years of conventions. That's insane!
I'm sure you can pick one.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there's usually that I often enter cosplay shows myself, just because I love to go on stage, and then it's really good for me to like be in the contest so I can see what the organizers are doing wrong so I can do it better at my cons. And like I don't think actually, like, if you do not know, if you're gonna organize a cosplay show and you're not a cosplayer, you will never get how it is. You need to be a cosplayer to understand like the pain and everything we're going through with our costumes. So I think like there's a ton of bad cosplay competitions, but one, I waited backstage for 8 hours, no toilet breaks, no water, no nothing. You were just standing there, and people were like fainting, like all the time. There was like fursuiters, there was an Iron Man guy, he fainted in his armor, and he just fell, like, and he was big. So there were like 5 or 6 people trying to like drag this poor Iron Man. And the organizers were like, don't worry, don't worry, everything will be fine. And then you see that they're dragging this guy, and you're like... So I would say if that happens to you, it has happened to me a lot, that stuff would go wrong in the organizing thingies and you're in the cosplay show, just walk away. Don't bother. If you see that something is wrong with a cosplay show, like really, really wrong, if you don't feel that it's fun, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's never worth it. I've done that a couple of times when I'm just, you know what, I'm not having fun anymore, so just tell them like I'm dropping from the show because you're making this really hard to me. Especially, I mean, you pay a lot of money. First you pay for the hotel, then you pay for the convention, and if you're a cosplayer, you're paying for the costume. It's a lot of money to be miserable in costume. Really, like. And most of my friends are not cosplayers, so they're not allowed into the cosplay area. That's like one of the worst things, I think. When I'm supposed to be backstage for 8 hours and my friends are outside like, are you alive in there? Can we go and grab some food? And you're like, no, I have to stand here and wait. So usually like delays. Delays, that's the worst thing that could ever happen, like hours of delay. Otherwise, we have some stalker histories. We have some nice stalker, like, stories from Bach. Yeah, the famous one. Everyone has been telling me, like, will you do the history with dyslexia? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There was this guy that his hobby at this convention was to go around and lift girls' skirts up. Like, he walked like behind them and then he lifted their skirts. And he decided to, on stage when I was hosting, I was standing like this, like, la, 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 reading the cosplayers, and this guy just lunged at my feet, grabs my legs, and kissed my boots. And you know, when you're standing with this, like full of armor, I was like, security, please. But then he just walked away, and later, they told me so many creepy stories that he had been doing to the other girls. I was lucky, I was super lucky, I mean, he harassed the living hell out of those girls. And of course they banned him, so. They were like, should we ban him? I'm like, yeah. Because some of the girls actually come up to me, because I'm a bit older, and they were like, we're really scared, I don't want to go to my hotel, I don't want to go and grab food, could you have me backstage? And I was like, if 20 girls are scared of this guy, he's not worth it. He is not worth it. So they got him out, thankfully. That's like the weirdest stalker kinda. And he waited outside the convention every single day for all of the cosplay girls. Because this guy was only interested in the princesses. And I was cosplaying Luna. Yay! So yeah, that was a strange guy. But mostly like, I mean, when after a convention, you usually remember some of the bad stuff, but usually just the good stuff. So I think that's really good. Like you don't remember that you stood in line for 4 hours because you got autograph of someone super awesome. So, and I mean, if you're having a bad time, just drop what you're doing and do something else. Just drop it. Because then you're not doing a convention correctly. I think you should have fun. Because you're paying a lot of money for it. To have fun. So please try to have fun. Anything else? Yes?
Did you get into doing cosplay because you started going to cons, or have you always been interested in cosplay?
Well, my very first cosplay was my OC Sailor Senshi Scout from Sailor Moon. Her name was Sailor Blackness. She had a black skirt and like black props. Yeah, she was totally angsty. And I made her when I was 9 years old. So, and it was actually at a parade, like a sci-fi fantasy parade, because there were no conventions. They didn't exist. And one of the first conventions I ever visited, I think it was like 20 people in a big movie theater. And that was it. And we watched anime. Because you remember, there was no internet back then. So everything was VHS tapes that had been recorded in Japan, and then some poor guy subbed them. Or sometimes he even translated them into Swedish. So he was standing like at the big cinema and he had like a microphone and like was translating it into Swedish. So, but convention, I think convention is the best part. I mean, you get to see other people who are as crazy as you. And that's the best part. So I think it goes like hand in hand. These days, I think most people go to a convention and then they start cosplay. But I kind of did the opposite. And I found these girls that I did the Sailor Moon group through a mailing list. Because there was no forums, no Facebook, no Twitter, no Tumblr, no nothing. There was mailing list. So we did like a big Sailor Moon mailing group thingy. It was very basic, super basic. It was my grandmother who made it for me because I was 9. And ever since then, I was just hooked. It just continued. I couldn't stop myself. And I always take some bigger challenges because I like it, but I don't think actually a lot of cosplayers are like, you have to get better and better and make bigger and bigger stuff. And I'm like, no. Do whatever you feel. If you want to wear the same costume for 10 years, then do that. I mean, it's for you. You are spending the money on a costume. Why should you not? Like, it's your money. If someone is asking you to make a costume, that's another thing. But most of these like cosplay hating and stuff that you see online, I mean, it's your money. Why should you not spend it on something you want to make? If someone doesn't like your costume, it's their problem. So, just try to have fun. Do whatever you please. I mean, it's a costume. You just dress up in strange stuff. So, don't think about it too much. Anyone? No questions? Well, I hope you will be. Oh, Philip.
Right. So if you go to a convention and you are, as a cosplayer, and you are having troubles with your costume, where do you usually go, or what should you do about that if you need help?
If I need help?
Yes.
How do you mean help? What's wrong with my costume?
No.
You mean if it breaks? Or?
Yes, if possible.
I always have my safety cosplay kit with me, you know, safety pins, hot glue gun, oh, and also a wig brush. Like the wig brush, it's your best friend, and always a mirror. And if you're having makeup on, makeup. So I usually bring it in a bag. And I mean, shit happens if something breaks. Just fake it until you make it. I mean, if something breaks off my costume, I will just remove it and like, it was never there. You didn't see it, because you're the only one that will notice that. I have seen people swinging swords on stage at national championships, like really huge ones. And this one guy, he swings his sword and the sword just came right off into the audience and hit 3 girls. This was as Euro cosplay. And when I was watching, they filmed it in different angles, and then they got it together with like some mixed tape transmuted, and you're like, that poor guy. So always test your props. If you want to swing with your props, test them out beforehand. And if you're not feeling comfortable in your costume, just remove it. It's not worth it, because you can clearly see on people when they're not feeling comfortable or annoyed or not having fun. So just remove it. But I mean, stuff happens. My stuff also breaks. I mean, come on, it's stuff. So just remove it if it's something. And most things can be fixed. Wigs, a wig brush. Also, if you have wigs, yay, and you really want to make it super soft, there are those conditioner shampoo sprays. You usually use them at kids' hair, you know, when they tangle, and kids are like, oh, mommy, don't rip my hair out. Those are the ones I use. They cost like €2, like a yellow button. So those are a lifesaver for wigs. Especially like those Hatsune Miku wigs. It's like, they get so destroyed after 2 hours. It's horrible. I hate wigs. Yeah, so you can always fix your costume. And of course, ask for help. Ask the staff. Like, my costume broke. Can you please help me? Because as a cosplayer, you're kind of like, you're marketing the convention for them. So I think actually that's the least the convention can do for you, is to give you some help when you're doing an awesome costume and you're showing it off at the convention. So ask the staff.
There should be a repair shop for cosplay.
I know they will be having that at Bach,
Yeah.
but I think other cons should have that. Usually at anime conventions they have costume workshop thingy where they have like glue guns and everything. So, but I think cosplay is pretty new in the Brony fandom, like hardcore cosplay madness. So I think we just have to wait for it to arrive naturally. And it's also a great way to socialize with other cosplayers. Like be in the cosplay studio, because every cosplayer will be there gluing something on their costume. So it could be a great room just to have cosplayers around. Yeah. Someone more? No more water questions? What is this? Yeah, I think that will be it actually. And of course, if you want to follow me, stalk me on Facebook. Oh, we have you!
Actually, how do you cosplay a character with shorter hair than your own?
What did you say? How do you cosplay?
How do you cosplay a character that has a shorter hair than what you already have? Do you shave your own hair or?
Oh, what I prefer? Oh, when I was younger, I always used my own hair because it's cheap, it's comfortable, and it's amazing. But as you grow older and you have to compete, I noticed that if I'm going, let's say, I would love to have Celestia's hair. If I would like to have Celestia's hair, first I have to bleach it, and then color it pink, and then like blue, and then like purple. It will damage your hair like mad. So I always recommend wigs, because then you can just have your shiny hair below the wig and just take care of it. Because you can see when someone has colored their hair way too many times and it just breaks off. That happened to me actually when I was younger. I bleached my hair so bad that I had to cut it off. Like really short boyish look. And now I have longer hair because it's taken like 10 years to grow it out. So I would say use wigs. I mean, they're easy to just pull off. Yes?
The person asked, what do you do when you have to cosplay a character that has shorter hair than your own?
Oh, yeah. There are some wigs that you can use that have skin, like, it's called lace front wigs. I've used those a couple of times. It looks like a net, and then there's like fine hair fibers sticking out. Those are amazing. But, of course, if you're doing like really, you can also use bald caps if you're doing a bald. Do the girl, of course. And, but I've used my real hair. For my Draco Malfoy cosplay that I did, like in 2010, I used my real hair. So, I would say what suits you the best, what you like. Do what you like. Totally. I mean, if you have the best pink hair ever, use it. But to me, it's not worth like going through the process of dyeing hair, because it's so damaging, sadly. But I love pink hair and I love colored hair. So. It costs a lot of money to take care of like really colored, vibrant hair. As you may have seen, like those blogger girls with like super fancy hair, and you know that they're spending so much money. Just spend those money on a wig instead. It will be much cheaper and better for your hair. Usually, I have like 40 wigs at home for different occasions, and they're not just cosplay wigs. They're like blonde wigs, short blonde hair wigs, and I usually buy all my wigs from eBay. For this one example, it's 5 wigs that I slaughtered. So I sewed them together. There's a lot of tutorials on this on YouTube, so you can find that. It's a lot of work, but wigs are amazing, and always like comb your wigs. You'd rather like combing your wig too much than too little, because if it starts to get like really messy, it will be impossible to like get it straight again. It's a constantly wig. If you see in the big cosplay shows, like people will always run around with a brush, like always combing their hair. Like it's like some of you are petting your pony plushies. It's something like our wigs. That's like brush the wig, brush the wig. And if you can't reach, of course, just ask someone. If you're not with a friend, just ask someone like, hi, could you please comb my wig? And they're like, yeah, sure. And it just goes very fast. And I'm allergic to metal, to nickel, so I'm using plastic brushes. Some recommend metal brushes, but because I'm allergic, so I can only use that. When it comes to allergies, people have asked me, I can't wear lenses because of my vision, I can't do this. Everything is fine. Don't worry about that. I mean, if someone really wants to nag you about you having problems with wearing lenses, they have some problems themselves. For reals. I mean, I've had conventions where my eyes were all swollen and all my makeup had like dig into my skin because I'm allergic to makeup. So I have to take really high level of cortisone tablets just to be able to wear this. And this is maybe, I'm not sure if I'm going to have a costume during the Sunday because of it. Because I will be destroyed. Is it worth it? For me, yeah. Because my allergies are so severe, it's like I can't... What am I supposed to do? Like live in a plastic bubble in my entire life because I'm allergic to everything? Not really. But if you have an eye problem, don't force yourself to wear lenses. Because, I mean, you don't want to lose your eyes. And same with wigs. If you don't want to wear a wig, don't wear a wig. Do whatever you please. That's like how I treat cosplay. Do whatever you do. And just enjoy it. So remember that with medication, like rather safe than sound. Being hurt. I don't know if you've watched a show called Heroes of Cosplay. Yeah, some. There was a clip with one of the girls and she had fallen asleep with her lenses in. And when she woke up, like her eyes was like, they were red, like really red. And she was like, I don't know if I will be able to make it to the con. And you were like, maybe you should go and see the doctor. And she went to see the doctor. If things happen, and things will happen, just go and see the doctor. Or have, like me, I have a ton of medication with me, just to make sure that if something fucks up, you will have your medication. Just to make sure. It's not embarrassing, never think that, because a lot of people have like asked me like, well, but I am a diabetic and it's really embarrassing for me, and I'm like, no, it's not. We need to show that real people have real people problem. I don't have perfect health, I had the worst health ever. When I'm arriving home from the convention, like next week, I will be in my bed. Because I will be so tired, like my body will be exhausted. I'm really pushing it. It's worth it, but but remember that, like, if you have medication and you have a medical disorder like myself, inform the staff. Please inform the staff so you're not lying on the floor like, and the staff is like, I don't know what's going on here. I've informed all the staff, I think, that I have strange allergies and stuff. So please inform the staff. It's never embarrassing. I think it's really better that the staff knows that you have a problem that they can help with. And maybe if you're having social anxieties, maybe the staff can like give you a private room just for you to relax. I have a lot of friends that have social anxiety and they just need to back off sometimes and just be by themselves and just relax and get down. So that's also okay. So don't think about that. So how many,
Yeah. Is it usual that the costume takes over the person who's wearing it?
You mean it's like too big? Or you get...
No, the personal changes.
Oh, you get way too in character.
In my neighbor there's Jack Sparrow.
Oh, a Jack! Oh, I like Jacks.
But he has been like that many years.
He has been that. If someone knows this Jack guy, we should totally go home to you and like look at him. This is amazing. Like you're living with the Jack.
Has anybody else seen him?
There's a crazy dude living next to you.
He's like
Yeah.
going around.
I love being...
His costume is really
Yeah, I mean really big. I love being in character on stage. But that's a personal thing for me. I don't like to be in character off stage because it doesn't fit me. But if you're not hurting anyone, I mean, do whatever you please. I think it's fun.
Yeah, but is it usual that
It's very
people,
usual, yeah.
people get
Yes,
into
yes,
the character?
yes.
Okay.
It's like everywhere at cons, especially at anime manga cons. I think that's more common. You know when you see like a Naruto chasing a Sasuke with a yaoi paddle. So yeah, and of course, if you're doing a photo shoot, at pictures, I would say always be in character when you're taking pictures, because that would really...
What's your favorite costume that you have?
Oh, I think my favorite costume... Oh god, this is hard. I think it's actually my giant Magini from Resident Evil 5, because it was like my very first armor thingy. And I was only wearing like, it looked like a giant diaper. And I was wearing like this huge mask and just body makeup and gore and stuff. And no one recognized me. I think that was really fun though. Because I started to talk to people and they were like, who the fuck is this crazy girl thingy? They couldn't even say if I'm a girl or guy, so. But, like, the people who follow me, they usually say my Draco Malfoy. All the girls love my Draco Malfoy. So, to all my ladies, maybe I'll be doing some more cross-dressing. And the guys, I think it's like, oh, my Night Elf. Because they like World of Warcraft. So. But I like big stuff. I like big, huge stuff. But they're very unpractical because they're big. So. Well, oh, yes?
As it's been inevitable, what's your worst cosplay injury?
Oh god. I have scars actually on my fingers.
Yes, I've got through 2 tendons before.
Yeah, I think like my worst was actually 1 month ago. I was working on my Don Flamingo costume and I ran into like my IKEA bookshelf super hard and my entire finger swelled up like crazy. And I called my dad like, Dad, I have a convention in 24 hours, what do I do? And he's like, you have to man up and just duct tape those fingers together. Because if you go to the emergency, you will be there for hours, you know how it works. You just sit there like, hi, my hand. So I had like fingers duct taped together and when I was supposed to do a pose, I was like, ah, pose. That was my worst cosplay injury. I have sadly to quit now.
I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Yeah, but you can ask me stuff. I'm up at my vendor booth because I love to answer stuff and follow me or tweet me or whatever. I love to answer strange questions because I like that. My next convention will be GalaCon in Germany and then I'm going to Bach in Manchester and then I'm going to Czechoslovakia. Yeah, totally. I hope everyone who are joining, I mean, if you have a cosplay on, please join the cosplay show tomorrow. Please, please, please. And like, do it for fun and also to show that Europe can do like a huge cosplay show. Because we need to beat those Americans. At BronyCon, I'm like, so just join it for fun. Okay? Thank you guys!
Okay, we need everyone to read this whole note. Thank you very much for attending.